He's doubtful. Did not do much in practice today. Terry's probable. So he went through most of the action today, played a little bit of live. So getting closer on Terry.
Considering the density of games you have coming up, would you see any reason to make any sort of a roster move if PJ is doubtful?
Mitch and I, we'll talk about it later today. We'll look at the roster, make sure we're okay and we're covered there. Initially, I don't think so, Rick. I don't see us moving in that direction. I'd like to leave Jalen alone and let him get some real playing time in Orlando. So that's the hope. Beyond that, I don't have anything for you beyond that. We'll continue to look at the roster and see if we need to add any pieces, but that's up to Mitch, and I'll talk to him a little bit later today and see if we need to address any of that.
I appreciate that the Sixers are kind of an outlier as far as they're kind of a matchup problem for all kinds of different teams.
Yeah.
But as far as yesterday being somewhat of a test run for the size, I thought it was interesting last night when you said, I can't make them grow any taller than they are. Yeah. How do you think you're equipped right now to sort of deal with things, like I said, with 3 games and 4 nights, the way the roster is structured?
Yeah, I think this is, Rick, this is who we are. I don't see us making any major changes here. Obviously, Mitch is always trying to enhance our roster, and he's turning over every rock and stone possible to enhance the roster. But I really don't worry about that now. We just got to, this is our group, and I'm rolling with them. So, we're just going to play through these injuries, let other guys get more experience. After watching the film, I thought 3 of those quarters we were pretty good. The only quarter that cost us was that first quarter, and they're a huge team, Rick. They are an outlier. You got Simmons out there at the point, you got Tobias, you got Danny's length at the 2, and then obviously Embiid, and you come off with Dwight. So that's a little bit different, even though tomorrow that's a heck of a team coming in here and a very good defense, and Gobert. I'm not sure they have the same size as Philly. So we just got to play better overall. I was more encouraged after watching the film, just how we played, especially in the second half. The second quarter wasn't bad. We lost that quarter by 5, but we still scored almost 30. We had 29, 34, and 35 the last 3 quarters. I can live with that. It's just we can't have a 13-point quarter. If that had been, a 20-point quarter, it's a tie ball game. And if it's better than that, we win the game. So we just got to keep plugging with this group. Philly's a tough matchup. We move forward, and then tomorrow's another great challenge for us.
Thank you.
Let's go to Richard.
Coach Borrego, Richard Walker, CarolinaSportsHub.com. Do Terry possibly coming back, does it alter your lineup? Because obviously Miles coming off the bench altered the quote energy coming off the second unit. I know it's a delicate balance for you. Do you leave Lamelo as is and make Terry maybe that fire starter off the bench, or what are your thoughts on that?
I'm going to look at a few combinations. We could go back to, our original lineup, or we can, go with something similar to what we've been doing right now. So I don't have an answer for you right now. I'm going to work through that. I want to get clarity on Terry. I don't want to speculate right now, and then go from there. So I'm assuming, PJ's out tomorrow, but again, you never know. So let's see how the dust settles today, and I'll have more clarity tomorrow.
Let's go to Christos and then Sam.
Hello, Coach.
Hi.
How are you?
Where are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Where are you
I'd
at?
like to ask, I'm in Greece, in Athens.
Yes, sir. Wow.
Great.
How's the food? How's the food?
It's great. And the weather is great also.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. I hope you're enjoying it.
I have a 2-part question. First of all, what did you see from Lamelo Ball as a starting playmaker in the team in the last couple of games? And also, you mentioned before that you read about Super Bowl. How you try to set as an example Tom Brady's success about your young guys? How inspired you as a team Tom Brady's success?
He's an example for all of us. Just his commitment, his professionalism. To me, it's really about his commitment to be excellent and be great. This is not a guy that came in the league as a high-profile player or a top-tier pick. He just worked himself into becoming the best, arguably the best quarterback of all time. I love Joe Montana, so I'm going to hold on to that one. But this guy, he just worked himself into becoming an amazing player, and he did it just committing every year, every game, every day to being the best. And it's an example for all of us. You want to be great at your craft? Work at it. Get around great people. It wasn't just him. Other people inspired him as well. So I think he was very coachable early on, and he took responsibility for his career. Your first question, I think, was Lamelo. I thought he was better last night. I thought he impacted that game. The only, the area of growth for him are the 6 turnovers, and I thought trying to make too many plays at the wrong time, cost us a few times. But in general, he's trying to play the right way. He's playing with great pace. So I thought overall pretty solid game, but we got to clean up a few things, especially against top-tier teams like Philly. We can't turn it over 19 times against a top-tier team like that. We got to take care of the ball. The last couple of nights, we had done a very good job taking care of the ball, and it's not a coincidence that we won those games. Last night, if we had kept those turnovers, to 10, 12, we're probably winning that game.
Let's go to Sam and wrap up with Rod.
Hey, JB, hope you're doing well. I know you touched on it on Rick's question there, but the first quarter last night, you said you were going to go back and watch it. Do you see anything else stick out to you about what was kind of leading to the, just scoring 13 points? And do you see any sort of consistency in the games where you've had slow starts?
I went back and I watched. I didn't think the shot selection was that bad. We were getting some pretty good looks. There were a couple of turnovers we had to clean up. And it's tough. When you're at the rim with these big guys and you're playing this sort of 2-on-1 game, you got to make good decisions, and you got to hope that guys make the right play and they make shots at the rim. Obviously, Embiid makes it tough on you. So we had a couple of turnovers early on that cost us in the first quarter. As you saw, we got our first 2 points, first 2 buckets of the game were transitions. So we were getting out playing with pace. It's not like we weren't playing with pace. Miles had the dunk early, Gordon had the dunk early, and we just couldn't find those anymore in the first quarter. So I thought we went in with the right mindset to play fast, to move the ball, share the ball. We just didn't knock it down in the first quarter for whatever reason. Second quarter we scored 29, third quarter we scored 34, fourth quarter we scored 35. I'll take that any night. We just went dry in the first quarter, and it cost us. So a couple turnovers, Sam, and a couple missed shots. The one shot I think of is Gordon had another layup at the rim. It was early. Had that thing gone, maybe it would have kept us alive there in the first quarter. But we move on, we move forward. I thought we got better as the game went, so that's what I'm going to focus on.
Thank you.
Let's wrap up with Rod, guys.
Hey, JB, with these games coming fast and furious almost every other day, what can you, as a staff, do in practice to kind of improve your team the way you want to? Do you have enough time? Is it film? What can you do in these days in between games to kind of get the team the way you want to be?
Yeah, it's a challenge, Rod. It's not a lot of practice, guys. It's more mental practice, a lot of individual practice right now for us. Some teams may be doing it different. For me, I got to keep our legs fresh. I'm going to err on keeping their minds and legs fresh. We're going to teach through film. So like today, we watched film to close practice. Some good, some bad things we got to clean up. So there was a lot of mental exercise. We walked through some things on the floor. And again, they're not going through drill work. As you guys imagine us in practice right now, it's not like they're going 100 miles an hour working on these schemes and these sets, which is hard to grow and advance your team. You really got to do it through the games. You're learning in the game, in the timeouts, we're talking through it. And then the next day you're teaching on film and walking through stuff. A lot of our stuff today was walkthrough. So it's hard, especially for young guys to gain, especially I look at Lamelo, Rod, he needs these live reps in practice to get these concepts defensively and offensively too, both sides of the ball. But it's a challenge right now because I need him fresh tomorrow. And, Sunday's game is 1 o'clock, and then we have a back-to-back the next night. Just keeps coming. So we got to be smart with their legs and their minds. So a lot of it is mental exercise right now.